Hi, this is another update. This is the second update of my situation, just to let you know what's going on really. I went to the immunotherapy clinic today to have blood taken for the immunotherapy, and also I had a special treatment called hypothermia therapy. I'll talk about hypothermia therapy first because it's pretty simple. Hypothermia therapy is a way of heating the body, in this case the area of the body where my cancer is, so this is a local hypothermia therapy, and the body is heated with radio waves, 8 megahertz radio waves, and that heats up the cells of the body, and heat damages cells, and normal cells are very good at repairing themselves. The cancer cells are not so able to repair themselves, so there is some evidence that hypothermia treatment is a good way to damage cancer cells. Also, hypothermia treatment seems to make cancer cells more susceptible to chemotherapy or radiation therapy. I'll be having chemotherapy starting from tomorrow. So when you have a big cancer tumour, like I've got a couple of big tumours on my liver, and the blood supply in the centre of the tumour is not good, okay, because it's a big tumour, so the blood can't get in, and that means that when you have the chemotherapy, which is essentially poisons that put in your blood, those poisons don't get right inside the centre of the tumour and don't damage the tumour enough. Hypothermia treatment, because it heats up the tumours, they get a better blood supply, and that lasts 24 hours, possibly even 48 hours. So that's why each time I go for chemotherapy, which will be every 2 weeks, the day before I'll have hypothermia treatment to try and really make my cancer weak to the chemotherapy. So today I also had the blood taken for immunotherapy. Immunotherapy is really, it's unproven, but it's very promising. It seems to work for some people, may work for me. If it does work for me, it could extend my life quite considerably. Possibly 6 months, possibly even a year, which would just be amazing if I get to live another year. If I get to live another year, that's fantastic because I get an extra year with my children, but also living another year opens up potentially more treatment options as new treatments become available, but also as current treatments become better. So, I really am in a race against time at the moment, without wanting to sound too melodramatic. The type of immunotherapy I'm going to have is called autologous immuno-enhancement therapy, which means it's designed to improve my immune system. So they took out blood today. The blood will go to a lab. I'll spend about 2 weeks in the laboratory. The scientists and the doctors will be looking in the blood for the correct cells. They need 2 types of white blood cells. One are called NK cells, those are natural killer cells, and another type called T cells, and they will get those white blood cells and strengthen them, kind of essentially make them into tougher cells, but also I think they do some programming and recoding to make those cells attack the cancer cells. And I think with natural killer cells, maybe one natural killer cell can basically kill up to about 23 cancer cells. Because I've had the blood taken out before starting chemotherapy, my immune system's probably in a reasonable condition, so the blood taken from today could be used for 3 treatments possibly. One cycle is 6 treatments, and I'll be having 1 or possibly 2 cycles in parallel with 8 weeks of chemotherapy. My chemotherapy starts tomorrow. As soon as you have chemotherapy, it massively weakens your immune system. So it then means that when I have blood taken, once I've started chemotherapy, each kind of 150 millilitres of blood taken can only be used for one treatment, really, one infusion. So it's very good. I'm very lucky that I was able to get the blood taken out before starting chemo. So tomorrow morning, early in the morning, I go to the hospital and I start chemotherapy. I'm starting a chemotherapy regime called FOLFOX, which is a mixture of poisons. And the idea is that the poisons go into my body and damage my body, but the cancer, because it's hungry, for want of a better word, will gobble up more of the poison. And in hospital I'll be monitored very, very carefully for side effects. There will be side effects, I mean that's basically a given, really. The side effects are pretty harsh. Some of the side effects get worse after the dose of chemotherapy, so I'm having chemotherapy over a 48-hour period, so it will be a 48-hour continuous drip and then a 12-day rest period. So that means today is Friday evening Japan time. I'm going early Saturday morning. Over Saturday and Sunday I'll be given the various drips to put these poisons in. Monday and Tuesday I'll remain in the hospital for observation, and then I'll go home for 10 days, and it could be the side effects reach their kind of worst maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I might have a few days of feeling okay and then back to hospital. But if the side effects are manageable, then when I go back to hospital I won't be having the chemotherapy. They will give it to me in a device I can take home and put on at home, and it's 48 hours continuous drip, so you have it even when you're asleep. And yeah, chemotherapy is dangerous, absolutely. There's no other way of putting it. This one is particularly dangerous. Some recent chemotherapy for some cancers is quite okay. I mean, like the side effects are not so bad or don't happen so often. This one, FOLFOX, is a pretty punishing chemo regime. Most people, over time, they get a lot of side effects, and the side effects get worse and they have to stop it. It's unusual for someone to have it for 6 months on the same dose that they start with. So people who make it to the sort of 6-month mark usually have had to reduce the doses or even switch to a different chemotherapy regime, like a different set of medicines. So that's what's happening at the moment. I am very, very frightened. It's a very strange feeling because today, as in the previous days, I'm feeling okay. I've got pain in my abdomen because I had major surgery 2 weeks ago, but I'm still what's called symptom-free. I do not have symptoms of cancer. There's a lot of cancer in my body, but I'm not wasting away yet. My liver seems to be working okay. I'm not getting liver failure, although that's going to happen at some point because I've got 5 cancer tumours in my liver, 2 of which are big. It's a 7.5 centimetre tumour and a 3.5 centimetre tumour, so big tumours. And I'm very frightened because basically after tomorrow I'm probably not going to feel this healthy, possibly for however long I live, because I'll be having chemotherapy every 2 weeks, and some of the side effects will last for the whole 2 weeks, especially as I have it more and more. There are cumulative side effects. So I'm feeling bad about tomorrow. On the other hand, chemotherapy is robustly proven to help most people. There's about, I mean, the statistics are in a way kind of arbitrary, but there's about a 50% chance that it will slow down the cancer. Within that, there's a sort of 20% chance that it will actually improve the cancer, that actually shrink down the tumours, that would give me hopefully, even more months to live. So that's the situation. I just wanted to give you that update. I still need to raise a lot more funds for the immunotherapy to have it enough so I've raised enough funds to start it, but to continue it I need a lot more funds. I've made the link matthewdons.org, so that's MATTHEW, D for Delta, O for Oscar, N for November, S for Sierra.org. If you go to that website, it will just take you straight to the fundraising page. And like I said in the previous video, the biggest thing you can do to help me is tell people, particularly on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, that you've donated, and put the link. I know it's donating is a very personal thing. Obviously you don't need to write the amount you donate or anything like that. But just that people have been doing it over the past few days because I asked them to in the previous video, and it's made a difference. More donations have come in. It's definitely made a difference. I've seen, for example, people writing on Facebook they donated, and within a couple of hours a couple of their family members donated as well. So it's a big difference. If you can do that, it helps me a lot, because immunotherapy is my best chance. No one in the world has had this type of cancer cured, so that's stage 4 bowel cancer with what's called peritoneal dissemination. No one's ever had it cured, not one human ever. With immunotherapy, it is possible I might be the first. That sounds crazy, but there's statistically seems to be 1 or 2% chance. Well, in my situation, 1 or 2% is that's so much better than nothing. Whatever happens when I have immunotherapy, that helps other people, because few people have immunotherapy because it's not available in most countries on the health insurance, and the more people who have it, the more the scientists learn. So please do share that website, matthewdons.org, and please do tell people that you've donated, because that turns 1 donation into 2, 3, 4 donations, and there's a chance it might save my life. So thank you very much for listening, and my next update will be after the first dose of chemo, so I'm not sure what state I'm going to be in. Yep, I'll do my best, and thank you so much for your support. Cheers, goodbye.